my work might be boring for you because it's typography, it's all the type font designs. Anyways, my name is Tim. I am from School of Architecture and Design. I studied communication design there. I graduated recently, and now I got a job there. So here I am talking about it. I'm originally from Myanmar, but did my bachelor's in Thailand. I guess I'm still there. I've seen most of you upstairs in the morning session too, but I'm going to ask it again. Like, do you like making things?
Yes.
Yes?
Breaking.
Great! We love it. We want you to break things. And do you want to build buildings?
Yes.
Yes? Let's talk about build and break, okay? And do you want to try stuff? Be artistic or maybe creative? No. So if that's the case, the school might be suitable for you. So I am only from School of Architecture and Design, but we talk about this because we are under the bigger university called kmutt, King Mongkut University of Technology, Taipei. And we have these are all the international faculties. We have a lot of faculties, and most of these accept bachelors, some of these only master's programs. But just so that you understand, we are a part of the big university. So us, for our faculty, School of Architecture and Design, we have 6 programs, 3 architecture-related programs, architecture, interior architecture, and landscape architecture, and 3 design-related programs, design innovation, communication design, and multiple intelligences for design. It's a mouthful, you don't have to remember it. I'll talk about it in a bit. So starting with architecture. So what might be most familiar to you about architecture is building buildings, designing buildings, and you are absolutely correct. So different architecture schools have different styles of teaching, different styles of approach to design. Ours is very experimental. We want students to make things, break things, like you said. And we want them to explore. So we actually ask the students to make a lot of models, stuff like these. These are something we call conceptual models. They're not going to be actual buildings, but we ask them to make those concepts. How do you translate an idea into a physical object? And then we start off with those, and then build actual buildings. So you can also see that you can also see that in other slides. So all 3 architecture programs at my university is 5 years, and that is because it is under the accreditation of Architecture Council of Thailand. Why it matters is, as an architect, you need a license in order to have your own practice, in order to build stuff. Without a license, you can work under someone else. But because we have the accreditation, right after graduation, you can sit for the license test and obtain a license if you pass it. So yeah, and then next up is interior architecture. Interior architecture, on the other hand, very similar to architecture, but they focus a lot more on the details. So now that the building is done, they look inside the building, right? So usually architects and interior architects, they work together. It's another 5-year program. And if you go to like shopping malls, usually shopping malls, when they were built, they don't actually have the interiors designed because they want it to be adjustable to whoever comes in, right? So interior designers, this is a very good example of what interior designers do. They would organize and manage the interior of the room. On top of that, they would also modify the actual architecture as well, because they're also architects. Like if the space is not working out, they would take out the wall, put a connection or something. And of course, they also work on other public spaces and living areas. This one actually is a student work. They won an international award a while ago. Next up is landscape. Now that we have a building, we have the interior, we need something surrounds it, right? So for landscape architecture, it's another 5 years. For them, it's a slightly different, unique kind of practice because they care a lot about the nature. So they're constantly learning from the nature. A lot of classes for them happen outside of the classroom in nature. They're always going out and learning from the trees, from animals, from the whole ecosystem of the building that you're building in. So these are actual classes happening. And this is a nice picture of how that practice is put into, how that research is put into practice. So you see buildings here, right? This is all architecture. And this is how landscape architecture deploys the ecosystem back into man-made areas. So landscape architecture, if you love nature, if you care about resilience, if you care about all that, it could be a nice program for you as well. Okay, now we have architectures, design innovation. Design innovation, previously known as industrial design. Now the name has changed, mostly because we have now expanded into digital products as well. When we say digital products, we mean something like UI UX. Are you familiar with the term UI UX?
Yes,
What does it stand for?
user interface and user experience.
Exactly, user interface, user experience. Basically making apps or websites. But design innovation program deals a lot with user analysis. They take the data from the user and think a lot about the user, like even specific, very specific groups. Like for example, these cookies are made for one specific group of people. Some of you already know what I'm saying. What do you think this is? Yes.
No.
Were you there this morning? Yeah. What do you think these cookies are for?
Like people
Yeah.
outside.
Right. So on the cookies themselves, they have braille baked on top.
Oh.
Do you have samples?
Unfortunately, Ajahn Nan, do we have samples of the blessed cookie? No, but he's a professor from design innovation. Anyway, so we also have a more craft-based products, craft-based classes like jewelry classes, and then this is the new. This is one thing that we all have been really immersed in lately, right? We're always on our smartphones, on our laptops. So these UI, the apps and the webs, we now consider as products as well. And I mean, I'm a big fan of these local crafts as well. I actually recently just bought it yesterday from Taiwan. But so Laos is a very culturally rich country, right, with all these crafts. So if you want to, if you have studied design, then you can elevate these products much more as well, if that's something that you're interested in. Next up is communication design. I will be very honest. I'm going to be biased because that's what I studied. So communication design, the way it is designed, the curriculum is first year all about fundamentals. You learn all the basics. Second year, the students are basically forced, not forced. The students are encouraged to try a lot of mediums. The first assignment I got when I started second year is they told us to make 30 images. And the prompts are, the first one, use a pencil to make an image. Still very simple. Second one, use charcoal to make an image. Still simple. And the third one, use water to make an image. Right, so all these prompts, and then it goes on and on, like use something from the kitchen, use something that you see in a park, use something that you can find in the living room. So like you are forced to try these materials that you never thought you could try. But at the same time, some of the students, they really go wild, and when the prompt is use a pencil, use pencils to make something. they would actually break the pencils, glue them together, and make something. So it is also an option. So it's a very the teachers always allow the students to do whatever they want, and of course there's a guidance. And it's a very diverse program because of that, by second year the students are well explored in terms of materials, mediums. So you can see like photography, products. These are all from second year class. This is about visual representation, so different assignments. This assignment is you have to pick up a rock from the ground, any rock, and you have to sell it to a specific group of people. So they would do, so it's in one assignment you have so many different aspects, right? You have photography, product photography, you have to understand the user, the target audience, and so on and so forth. And the last one, this one is called Complain Creatively. You have to pick social topic that you want to complain about, and you have to complain creatively. And then by third year, usually the students already know what they really like and what they don't like. So all the projects becomes very diverse. Earlier I said my work is typography, right? So it's not my work. So I lean more towards graphic design and typography. There were other students who like animation, then they can go towards animation classes. Usually for specific kinds of crafts, we have different levels of classes that the students can take as electives. And then by fourth year, we call it the thesis year, then the students take one whole year to make one project. So by then, very diverse. This one is an illustrated series, talking about the curse words in Thailand, the evolution of curse words. This one is about, it's a 3D animated show of clips about consent. This one is about algorithm in your phone, how it's affecting, and it's also a 3D animated short film. So by that point on, the students just go really, they deep dive into whatever they want to do. And then last, but definitely not least, is called BD. It's the newest program, we just started in 2022. And it's called a startup program. If you watch the K-drama Startup, it is exactly what they do here. And BD is designed as having three compartments to it, three intelligences. And that is why the name is called multiple intelligences for design integration. So as a student, you can also plan your own curriculum. You can consult with your professor and plan your own curriculum the way you like it. These are some of the topics that you can choose as examples. You can basically choose to start up anything as long as it's helpful. And these are the tracks. So the regular one is regular, like the curriculum designed by the professors. The second one, if you have a family business, like if your parents have a business, then you can actually bring that business idea into school, talk with the professors, and come up with a curriculum that fits you. And the third one is a joint program, joint project, which means you can work with one corporate. Right, so these are all 6 programs we have. I'll recap a little. We have 3 architecture programs: architecture, interior architecture, and landscape architecture. And then we have 3 design-related programs like design innovation, industrial design, product design, UI UX, and then communication design, graphic design, illustration, animation, 3D, all that. And then BD is the business design and technology startup program. Right? So you would ask, what is it like to study there? So this is, are you familiar with the word PLUT? Like, it's something that one of the ajahn like to say at our school. Like, he said, we PLUT. We don't just learn, we PLUT. It's so bad. It's such a bad pun. Anyway, but we like to think of a lot of the classes they look like this. They're not like classroom like these. Usually we work in open spaces. Each student get their own spot and they can use it as however they want. Like use it as a research space or to present present. This is an actual class happening. This is a very fun one for architecture students. They were supposed to create a space. So they were testing out the plans. That guy was lying down because this is supposed to be the bed area. And he was testing it out. And it is in the middle of the building. This is a first year classroom. And so like it says like each table is for a student, and they just go around and look at other students' work, and they talk about it, they present about it. This is an elective printmaking class for communication design students. And these are actual student works in second year interior architecture. They actually have to make large-scale usable works. And it's not just interior architecture. All of the other programs, they have to think about, they usually have to produce actual works that are usable, or actual works that are going to be shown to a certain group of public entities. And this is from landscape architecture, apparently the running from the chicken. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you all of these pictures because our school is not of course we have our formal lecture classes where you have to learn about certain topics, but a lot of times as a student, you're always trying out, you're always doing things, you're in an open space with, and the teachers are also usually very open-minded, and we want the students to be open-minded as well. So this is it about School of Architecture and Design. If you are interested, you can always come and talk to me after the presentation. If you have more questions, you can ask them now as well, if you would like. I think we have some time because this is the last presentation of the day. That was very encouraging. All right, so thank you for coming. Hope to